Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Monday, July the 1st, the start of a new month. June is behind us. Hope you had a good trading month in June. And to be honest, we've really had some of the best trading over the last couple of months as we've had as long as I can remember. So, hopefully you've taken advantage of it. If not, hopefully you've been learning during this time and um, getting prepared for whatever's to come next. And lately, the last couple of weeks, really seems like we get a lot of good movement early, and then we go into these trading range, and that's kind of what happened today. Really, since um, early morning, we've been kind of stuck in about a 4 point range here. But you have to understand part of this reason is because we had this channel working up through here, and then we had the break and finally got a new high right here, and then we're trying to sell off. But I'd be very leery about selling anything down here near this low because you may get trapped and it'd be running higher again. But I saw this as a spiking channel. I started with my channel kind of up in here, and then um, or maybe right here. But once we made this last high, I just kind of drug it down, and you can see that kind of fits right across there. Pretty good actually. And so I believe this was our channel. We had the break, the move to a new high, and now we're kind of we've got a correction going on. I wouldn't call this a reversal yet, but we've definitely got a correction going on. And so far it's lasted, how long has it lasted? The correction started about 11:20, which is, this is about where I stopped my trading. I had some runners that I was trying to get out of on a new high, and it worked out perfect. But this correction started about 11:20, and so we've had enough to have an hour, at least an hour's worth of correction. So it wouldn't surprise me if they don't trap some people low and run higher. But at the same time, we've got an overnight gap down here. And so we may trade lower the rest of the day. We just have to kind of wait and see. But you got to be real careful about going short right here, because if you can easily, you can see what's happened every time prices have come down here. It's been a great chance to get long. So we'll just have to see what happens. But let's talk about the trades. Um, as the summer's here now, I'm going to try to get my trading done by noon, get the video done immediately after, and then me get out of here early every day and enjoy the time with my kids and play some golf and things like that. And that's why I got into trading, to try to enjoy my time and better manage my time and spend more time with my family. So that's what I'm trying to do. So let's back out of here, talk about the trades, and go from there. But we were kind of in this mess when I came in, but you can see that's a nice move, and you got to figure you're going to get some kind of, additional leg up. And even if you just were looking for a measured leg here, there's leg one, and then look where leg two is, and we didn't get much higher than that. So that would have been a great place to think about exiting right in here when we got into a possible trend channel line by drawing it off those last highs. So great place for your target to be on any of these trades, and you can see it would have worked out good, and you would have gotten out almost to the very tick, to the high. Um, but first trade, I drew my trend line. I actually had a couple of different lines here. I wasn't sure where we were going. I had one here too, but you can see it just doesn't. Well, you might could say it fits over here off of that. Um, but with such a spike, you got to figure you're going to get another leg, or at least an attempt at another leg. And so once you kind of had this line here and it bounced off of it again, then you had to be thinking spike and channel, because this is just too steep, really. Another leg up would put it, straight up, would put it right up here, almost straight up. And it's rare. I mean, it's not saying that can't happen, but generally, because I've had some people say, well, I didn't think you could have a trend that went that, so don't take that the wrong way. It's just not a healthy trend. It's not common. It's most of your best trends will be at about a 45-degree angle. And that's a healthy trend. If it gets steeper than that, then it's too strong and it's not going to last very long. Or if it gets flatter than that, it's not a very strong trend. And that includes working down, the same thing. So just keep that in mind. Most healthy trends are about a 45-degree angle. And so most of your trends you will find at a similar angle to that. But this one wasn't too hard to find, drawing it off those first closes, and even if you waited till here, if you didn't come in till 8:30, you should have been able to have that line going up through there. And so the reason I like this first trade, you got a first entry, pull back, a second entry, but more than that, you got a first entry short, or really kind of what I call a second entry short, but it's a two-legged move basically back to the trend line. I didn't like this bar, so when prices broke above it, I dropped a limit order a tick or so back in there. It came back and filled it, and then it went higher. But then you had, let me back out where it's easier to see here. But notice this new low. It's a failed break lower. Then you got a first entry short, and then a second entry short that failed off that new low. And somebody asked me about something very similar the other day. They couldn't figure out how it was a failed entry short, but I'm counting off the low because we made this new low here. So you're moving up, your first pullback, so that's your first entry, then you're moving higher, and then there's a second entry short off this low, and it fails and goes higher. So you want to go long right there. Easy trade. And then we hit the top, and then we corrected until we got to the other side again, and then boom, it goes up, it hits the top, it corrects till it comes back, and then we'll talk about this one when we get up there. So you might have even considered entering above that one, but you're getting back so close to these highs. But once you got the trap there, and hopefully that makes sense on that trap, when you broke lower right there and then turned up, you go long just above that bar, and then boom, it's off to the races. And any runners were safe. If you do like me, I usually exit when you get to the other side. Once we got into this, I was pretty sure that we were probably going to come back over to this side, so I exit and I wait for a new entry. And then guess what? You get another little trap here, a one tick break below all those matching lows, a little small bar, so a chance to get long at the very end, very bottom of this little range. At the EMA, at the trend line, you got so much support there that you just can't ignore that. Great place to get long. You can see it rocketed on out of there pretty quick. And guess what? First entry, there's your new low. It's almost a repeat pattern. First entry short, second entry short. It fails and breaks higher. You go long right above that bar, and then boom, it does the same thing. And you just can't ignore those. And guess what? Any runners were safe here, and I think the runners were safe here too. Your entry's right there, yeah. So see, even our runners were safe here too. I couldn't remember if we got stopped out there or not. But I exited my runners here, so if you were holding them, you could have. But I added on here, and I went back in here, and then I added on here, and these runners, I kept these runners and gave it a little more room, and so I figure we're going to get a new high. So I had my exit one tick above this little double top right here, and you can see we went just enough to fill that limit order, and then boom, it sold off, and that was even a great place to get short. It's a little more aggressive, but with all that selling and that bearish bar, it's kind of a range, a chance to get short at the high, and you can see it was a quick, easy move. So, but anyway, runners on most of these were good today. And so you could have ridden these quite a bit. So good, even though there's not as many entries today, still a good trading day. And then this is just a two-legged pullback. First leg correction, second leg, nice bullish kind of reversal bar there. Chance to get long. Then it comes easy scalp, but it comes back and gets the runners on that one. And then another chance to get in. Again, it comes back and gets the runners, but I gave that one a little more room. I kept my stop below here. I really thought we'd probably come on down a little lower, but we didn't. It turned up, and that's a second entry long. First entry, notice the new high here. First entry, pull back, second entry. You probably wanted to use a limit order. That's what I did there, and then boom. And then, like I said, I exited. I put my limit order one tick above this high here, and it went just enough to fill me, and then it reverses. And so easy day, really. Nothing out of the ordinary, exactly what you would expect to happen. It was real slow working these trades. but that's what happens when you get in these tight ranges. But you can see we're still making higher highs and higher lows all the way up there. So no reason to really exit. And we're looking for a new high on a retest off of this. It's a pretty strong move up, so you can't ignore that. And then again, I showed you the measured, what a measured move looked like there. First leg, oops. And then second leg. So you were looking for some highs about here. So if you just use that for your target, you would have done well on any runners or any swing trades. You don't have to do it the way we do it. You can swing trade entering in these places. But a lot of these trades, like in this range, you're not going to want to swing trade those. So, but when it's trending like this, if you want to swing trade it, you can. But I like to scalp out and move my stop to break even and take all the risk out of the trade. It just seems to work out better that way. And at least it does for me. And you see we're still going lower here. We finally broke through, and that's why I was saying there's just not a very good setup there. But anyway, that's pretty much it for today. Through the lunch hour, which was my trading time, and be interested to see if this break fails and we go higher from here. But we still haven't filled that gap that's way down here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'm done for the day. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you had a good trading month last month. I hope this month will be an even better one for you. If you're not profitable yet, get on the simulator, practice what we do, study the manual, and study our rules, and just watch price action. It's all about getting time and experience, and you got to know the rules and what we do. But the biggest part of it is just getting a lot of experience. And, you're not going to learn this stuff in a week or two, or probably even a month or two. It's going to take some time of being here and watching it, and just getting the experience of seeing what prices do every day, because there's so many patterns. And what the market is good about doing, I'll say this and I'm going to wrap it up, is kind of getting you comfortable with what's going on, doing something similar every day for a week or two or a month, and then all of a sudden it just completely changes, and it'll have a different pattern, and it'll lull you to sleep again, and then bam, it'll change again. So you got to stay with it long enough to learn all those different things the way the market does, and it's constantly trying to lull you to sleep and trick you into the wrong direction. And so the key is don't get tricked and don't fall for the tricks. And to learn, you got to learn them before you can not fall for them. So, and that just takes time and experience. And if you follow our rules, they'll help you to stay on the right side of the market. First of all, that's the key. I mean, there's no telling how many people got trapped on all these short setups all through here, only to see the market go higher. And then they finally say, hey, I'm not going short anymore up in here. And they start getting long. And then guess what? They're on the wrong side again. And now it's working in the other direction. And that's just real common. And that's what most losing traders do. They're buying up here and they're selling down here, and they're getting whipsawed over and over and over. And, don't counter trend trade. Stick to the trend, follow our rules, and it'll keep you on the right side of the market more times than not. So this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. I'm going to call it a day, and we'll see you tomorrow.